What's going on, people? This is my first YouTube video. We're doing a get to know me. And so, yeah, let's get into it. This is daunting. This is scary. My name's Lincoln, 28 years old, photographer living in Leicester, and I'm originally from Zimbabwe. I'd say something that people don't know about me is how well attached to my faith that I am. If I'm honest, I'd say the art itself, it was a bit of an accident. I'm not one of those people that knew they wanted to be a photographer. You know, you get them fancy stories that are a bit, romantic. The romantic stories of how you found your career path. I had some artistic roots, for lack of a better term. I used to enjoy drawing. One day, I think this is during sometime in college, one of my media teachers kind of, I don't even recall how it all kind of played out, but one of my teachers asked me to take photographs of something. I can't even remember what it was. I think I fell in love with being able to produce the result in that split of a second. In contrast to when I'm drawing, I'd have to obviously create some guidelines, make an outline, and then you kind of like go into the details. But with photography, it just kind of felt like, there's the thing, there's the detail, click this button and you've captured it. I love to draw people's faces, and especially when you had like the assignment to draw a really old person and you could like had to capture all the wrinkles and all of that. I like doing that, but oddly enough, I've never photographed people like that. So that might be a new project to come. I'll say 3 things I do to keep motivated is 1, prayer. I make it my best effort to try and give a prayer in the morning, because what that does for me, it helps me it's a chance to remember what I'm grateful for. So, you know, when I wake up in the morning and, you know, my mum's alive, my dad's alive, my siblings are alive, you know, all my friends. If I wake up and those people are just like simply still there, everything else feels like a bonus to me. I think I got this actually quite from watching a lot of Gary V's content, which was just bringing to perspective that sometimes we care about things that don't matter as much, because as you can imagine how distraught you would have been this morning if you woke up and you had lost a loved one. You wouldn't be caring about the bookings that you've got coming in or what client edits that you have to complete. It's more personal to you, isn't it? So it also helps me then conduct myself accordingly as a person. So as I'm grateful about the gift of life each day, I'm grateful about the encounters I make, the inquiries that I hit up, or that hit me up. Do you know what I mean? It's a chance to connect, and I really value that. I like connection. I'd say thing number 2 is motivational content and podcasts. I'm one of those, but I do really gain from it. I think there's a lot of power into putting positive things inside your ears. So it's like you could be hearing a conversation, you hear somebody struggle and how they overcome it. I find for me it works. It inspires me, you know, when I hear about how hard a certain person had to kind of endure and then push through. It then is a reflection point of my struggles, and sometimes I think, have I pushed hard enough? And if I haven't, then that pushes me to go harder. And lastly, we plan. I went for a super long time where I kind of just freestyled everything, and whilst it served its purpose, I guess in that period of my time, I'm at a particular point where now, like, I absolutely have to plan, because if I don't plan, there's like 1,000 things going on in my head. So I end up accomplishing one thing out of like 20, which is not good. Whereas if I plan, I can accomplish perhaps 18 out of 20. So the ratios are a lot different. And this is something I've learned that works for me. So planning. So pray, plan, and positivity. 3 Ps. One quirky thing about me is I love anime. For those who don't know, anime it's not a cartoon. Let's just get this straight. It's not a cartoon. It's a way of life. But yeah, so I like Naruto, One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, a lot of mainstream stuff. To be fair, I'm not like you wouldn't call me the like anime head. I actually have a poster. I've got quite a few posters. Let me show you guys. So I don't know if you guys can see. I'm gonna have to go. I got this. This is my One Piece poster. It's the main character. He's gonna be king of the pirates. And so yeah, I love One Piece. It has a lot of like, it's got a lot of symbolic meaning to me because there's a theme of wanting to be the best in like this character's friendship group. Everybody wants to be the best at what they do, and there's something that I really like about that. So I'm very invested in One Piece. I've actually got, let me show you one more thing. Yes, so I've got this. So these are katanas. So I like this particular sword because this is one of my favorite characters. You've got, his name is Zoro. He's a samurai, as you can see. This is, I believe it's called Enma. All my anime heads can correct me out there. Enma. But yeah, if I remember correctly, this is a sword that he uses or acquires when he gets to Wano, and it's a very powerful sword. I look at these as good reminders of what I'm doing. I want to be the best at what I do. So yeah, symbolic to me. Chicken, beef or chicken. To be honest, I am dominantly chicken, but I do feel like at the moment I'm kind of swaying over to beef because I'm kind of just tired of chicken. It's like chicken burgers, loaded fries are technically chicken. I would just, if I had to impart something to my viewers and my followers, it's just to dream. Like, allow yourself to dream. That's why I'm doing this. Like, I want to build my personal brand, but there's also things like I'm quite insecure about my voice. So even being on camera speaking, it's a big thing for me, but it's that whole doing the uncomfortable to overcome it. Because at the end of the day, this is my voice. This is what I look like. So I just gotta get comfortable putting myself there and allow that as a step further to obviously my other goals. I feel people don't do that a lot anymore. People they've just lost the passion to dream. And so for me, I don't come on camera as the successful photographer trying to tell you how you should do things. I just come in more so just like as a person trying to develop myself and work on the passion. And I found a lot of happiness just in the process of being able to pursue my dreams. So I can only hope that somebody else out there needs to hear it. And yeah, that makes me fulfilled. So a lot of my shots is now indoors. So I shoot in studios a lot. But a couple of years ago, I'd say about 3-4 years ago, I absolutely hated the idea of shooting in the studio. I had no clue what I was doing in there. I just felt like it was very confusing. I'm in this room and all these lights, I don't know, the lights work. I'm just trying things, you know what I mean? It's like you're switching this light on, seeing how it works. But over time, I became more confident and more competent. So now the studio is not as daunting. I actually prefer to work in the studio now because I know the things that I liked about shooting outdoors, I know how to replicate them even in a environment when I'm inside now. So from my work, you'd say I'm really attached to warm colors. I like reds and oranges. I do have ick colors. I don't like shooting green particularly. But if you have to, I'm not asking, I'm telling you, you are one of my favorite photographers. Your work inspired one of my shots. That's amazing. You know, I realized I get these random twangs of different accents. I don't know where they come from, but I guess it's being around so many different people. But yeah, no, that's brilliant. I like that. Share with me the shot. I love to see it. That means a lot to me. Part of a big point of my photography career is hearing words like this. They kind of do encourage me to keep kind of like doing what I do and know that it's making some impact somewhere. I'd have liked to be a physicist. Yeah. I think physics is fascinating. I'm astonished by the way the natural world works around us, the universe, galaxies, space, aliens, all of that. Like quantum physics, especially quantum physics, absolutely blows my mind. But yeah, if I could have done something else, I'd have heavily gone into physics. I was capable. Perhaps I wasn't like A-level scientist. But having said that, one thing I've realized, the learning process is something, as you grow as an adult, you really learn your learning styles and how you consume information. I do think I would have a better chance at learning physics now at a very more comprehensible rate than I would have done if I was doing, from the age that they have you doing at school. So when did I decide to niche down? I'd say it came somewhat by accident. I had a shoot with my dear friend, Aminato Kamara. At the time, we were trying to create some content for us to just kind of upkeep our socials. There's a particular shot or concept that we were shooting, which was with another friend of mine, Madi. I remember the shot because it is my defining moment. It was like dominantly blue, so cold shot, quite a close-up headshot, and then, as you would know, or as you'd expect from my work, you just had the spotlight hitting your face. And I really fell in love with that picture. I just thought this, in an egotistical way, I looked at it and I thought, this is art. And so going from that period, I just kept on trying to replicate that lighting style that I'd shot. And of course, the more I shot it, the more I learned to do certain things. I'll say I realized that niching down was important because I looked at brands like Nike, basically any high-end commercial jobs, and looked at what they were good at doing, which was storytelling. But on top of that, based off the feedback, or I'd say my own inquiries, people hitting me up saying, I really like the way you use lighting, or I really like the way you work with color, or I like the way you edit skin tones of people of color, because I photograph people of color a lot. It's not by choice, but it's just, I guess those are mainly the people I'm surrounded by, and it's easier for me to shoot the people I'm around. So as clients are pointing out these things to me, I'm grasping that these clients have a narrative that they want to tell. And if you think about the biggest brands like Nike, finances are not really an issue for them. So there's not a price that I could give to Nike and say, hey, I charge £10,000, and they'll look at me and be like, oh my God, what? They can afford it. So money's not the issue. So what becomes most important for them is, am I the artist that can best deliver this brief that they have? They have the story that they want to tell. Have I got what it takes to do the job? And they want the best. They don't want second best, especially Nike. You see in their athletes and the people they sign, you got LeBron James, Michael Jordan. It's always this whole Serena Williams. It's always this thing about like the number one. And so you can imagine when they're choosing their creatives, they're looking for people that can be looked at and thought as number one. So that realization made me niche down to really create a more unique body of work. So the worst advice I would say I ever received was to be realistic. I think that's just a pile of bollocks. I think if you can set goals for something and set digestible mini goals to achieve it, more times than not, you find that you can really achieve the things that you put your mind to. The best advice I ever got was when I first told my parents I wanted to do photography. This was a switch up from my current path at uni, which was to do psychology and get into cognitive neuroscience. So you can imagine that conversation was a bit scary, but the response kind of took me back a little. I'd kind of prepared this whole speech of explaining how I'd make it work, kind of showing them the things I'd already done with my photography at the time. But no, my dad, in fact, he was the one. He just looked at me and said, He quoted Steve Harvey actually, so that just tells you a lot. But he'd been watching a bit of Steve Harvey's content, and I guess it kind of like opened his eyes to kind of outside that typical African mentality. So his words to me was just like, go do it. Like, if you believe that's what you want to do with your life, then you just gotta go and do it. And that's probably the best. And I'd say that's probably the message that I'm trying to pass on to people. My favorite football team, they that shall not be named, Manchester United. Next question, please. We don't need to discuss where they sit in the Premier. I don't care. United, you're breaking my heart, breaking many people's heart. You lot just need to, I don't know, pack it in. Let's get relegated at this point, because every time you watch a match and you're not sure if your team's going to bag it or not, it's like I'm throwing pennies down a well. I'd say I like to practice empathy. Yeah, I practice empathy because I do think as much as business is business, we are still working with people. And so for me, there's a lot more value to being able to help somebody achieve their dream or like achieve the goal, and I was a part of it. Obviously, there's room. Don't break your back to fulfill other people's visions. That's where you gotta kind of like mitigate your needs, clients' needs, find that bit. So some people don't do that. I think some people just say, if you can afford it, you can afford it. If you can't, you can't, which is okay. I think it's like it's a principle in it. It then helps me maneuver around the booking better. It might be a case where even if, say, my price was too expensive, but now because I've done the effort to find out what that problem is, in which in this case is a price point, I can work with that customer and say, look, if it's just a price thing, would it make it easier for you if we split the payment over 2 or 3 XYZ? And sometimes you find that really converts a client over. Sometimes in those cases they can't afford your services, but I'll then do my best to forward them to somebody who I know that perhaps their day rate can meet what they're doing. But anyways, that's my get to know me. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the content that we will be producing. I say we, it'll probably mainly be me, but I will be producing this content. Looking forward to having you guys on my journey. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that good jazz, and see you next time.